Hey guys, welcome to a brand new video on my channel, Meg's Movies. If you are new to this channel, this is basically where I talk to you guys about my passion for movies. This goes from collections, hauls, reviews, and today's video, so let's get into it. Okay, and we're back with part 2 of my little mini-series, because it's literally just going to be 2 parts, of favourite movie of each year that I have been alive. So the first one was all about live action films, but part 2 is going to be all the animated films. Now, like I said in my first part, every year there's always loads of movies that I truly enjoy, both live action and animation. So I'm kind of thinking I might do this yearly. I haven't fully decided yet, but I wanted to do one this year because this is a series I've thought about doing in the past and never got around to doing it. So with these animated ones, there's a couple of years where I struggled to pick one, mainly because there was either not many films that come out animated-wise that I enjoyed, or there was too many to pick from, especially with 2002, because 2 of my favourite films come out then. But I managed to pick some. I managed to pick one from each year, so this is from 1995 to 2023. There are some that are missing from my collection, whether that is because it's part of a triple pack that I currently don't have in my collection. I've lent it out to people. Or I just don't have it in my collection. There's one film I thought I did have in my collection. Apparently I don't. I must have got rid of it or something. But there's one on here that I keep meaning to pick up. But unfortunately it's only on DVD in the UK. It's not on Blu-ray. So I will eventually get there. So I've currently got my Letterboxd open because I need to look at the list and confirm sort of like where I'm going to be putting posters. So let's get into this. So starting with the year I was born, 1995, I had to go with this one. There was no other choice. Toy Story. Very first ever Pixar film. First ever fully animated CGI film. Absolutely amazing film. Some amazing one-liners. Tim Allen and Tom Hanks just absolutely amazing as a duo in Woody and Buzz. And of course I had to show off the 4K. There's no way I couldn't show off the 4K. Just, it looks so beautiful. And it's the colour purple as well. Then we go on to 96 and we have another Disney film. Quite a lot of these are actually Disney. There's only like a handful that aren't. But for 96 I went with The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I haven't watched this film in a very long time. And I've heard that they're going to scrap the live action remake that they were going to do. And you know what? I think this would have been a very good one to do. I would love to have seen how they would have done things with that one. But this is a really good film. It's one I need to give another rewatch at some point. I think the villain in this is really good. He's got a really good bad guy song. He creeps you out, and that's what villains should do. But then you've also got Quasimodo, who's just this lovable character. And of course, when I saw this was the movie for 96, I had to go with it. There was nothing else I could go for. I just really love Quasimodo and he stands out to me. So when I do these lists, I look at the films that have come out that year according to Letterboxd, and the one that sticks out to most to me is the one I choose. So we're on to 97 now, and it's Hercules. Yes, this is an amazing film. The music in this is fun, the mythology is fun, the characters are fun. I love pain and panic because basically that's just me in life. Just always panicking, always have something wrong with me, you know. So I empathise with them. But no, this is a really good film. I know we're getting a live action remake of this and I would love to see this. But I think what they'd have to do is, at least for Phil and for Hades, they have to have the original voice actors back for this, I think. Because I can't think of anyone else that can play those roles. But no, I look forward to seeing what this live action remake will be like. But this is an absolute classic. And if you haven't watched it, I recommend you do. Okay, so we're going on to 98. And this is the first one of the ScoobyDoo movies that I've picked. And that is ScoobyDoo on Zombie Island. Now, this was the first of 4 movies that came out where they actually dealt with real life creatures and monsters. So I thought these films were absolutely amazing. You'll see 2 more of them come up on this list. But this first one is absolutely amazing, hilarious. I love the animation on this, especially when it comes to the zombies and the cat people. And there's one song in here called It's Terror Time Again, and I really love that song. It's such a banger of a song, and it's too bad you can't listen to it on something like Spotify. You have to listen to it on YouTube. But it's such a good film, and it was 4 films that we got that were absolutely amazing. And going on to Scooby-Doo again in 1999, and that is Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. Now, I love this film for the simple fact of we got Tim Curry, who played the villain. Loved his character. I thought he was brilliant. But we also got the introduction of the Hex Girls, and I love them as a girl band. I think they're absolutely amazing. And 2 of their songs in here, I think it's I Put a Spell on You and Earth, Wind, Fire and Air. Both amazing songs. And this is what I love about these direct-to-video movies, is that they tend to have songs that stick in your head, or that end up, you can watch it years later and you'll still know the lyrics, because they're so rhythmic, they're fun, they're upbeat, they've got a tempo to them, the lyrics are fun. But yeah, so of course as well, I love myself some witches, so of course I had to do this one. Okay, and we're on to the 2000s now. So for 2000, I had to go with this one, Emperor's New Groove. Such a weird but hilarious film, and I love the sort of like interaction with the audience at points, and the way it just sort of was a little bit different to what Disney had done in the past. And yeah, just Yzma, fantastic villain. Cusco, fantastic character. Cusco. Some very good voice actors in this film, all recognisable. And I wouldn't mind seeing a live action one of this. But yet again, it's one of those things where they would have to bring back the original voice actors, because they had such unique voices to this film. Like, I can hear them in my head now just talking about this film. So if you're going to do a live action one of this, try and bring back the voice actors if you can. If not, there's definitely bring back Patrick Warburton as Krunk, because he's just amazing as Krunk. Okay, 2001 is the last of the Scooby-Doo 4 movies we got. I didn't include Alien Invaders, just for the simple fact of it is an enjoyable film, but it's one that didn't stick to me that much growing up. But this one did, and this is my absolute, I say my absolute favourites. Between this and Zombie Island that are my favourites. But for 2001, I went with Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. Now, this has got video games, Scooby-Doo, fun music, fun characters. So this is a film for me. I really enjoy this film. I love the idea of the, I can't remember the creature's name now. The virus. I forgot they call it just the Phantom Virus. And I even played the game growing up on the PS1. And oh my God, that was a struggle to play. But no, this is a really fun film. If you're a video gamer and you like Scooby-Doo as well, this is one I recommend, because it is a fun little movie. And yet again, there's some fun songs in this film. So if you haven't watched it, I seriously recommend you do. 2002. Now, this is the one where 2 of my absolute favourite films of all time came out. So, of course, I had to go with the one that has too many memories to me. And this is one of the reasons why I want to do another one next year, because I want to say about the other film as well. So, for 2002, I had to go with Lilo and Stitch. Everyone knows that I love Lilo and Stitch. I mean, the bracelet, the tattoo says it all. The amount of Lilo and Stitch stuff people have seen on my channel. This is an absolutely amazing film. It's memorable. It's beautifully animated. Some amazing one-liners from this film. I mean, the quote of Ohana means family. Family means no one gets left behind or forgotten. That line has stuck with me for years and years. So, of course, for 2002, I had to go with Lilo and Stitch. Okay, and we're on to 2003, and this is a guilty pleasure of mine because I know not many people are fans of this. And that is Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas. I don't know why people don't like this film. I think it's very entertaining. The animation is fun, especially when it comes to, is it Cerberus? Is that how you say her name? No, Goddess of Chaos. That's it. This is a fun little film. I know a lot of people aren't a massive fan of this one, but for me, it's one of my DreamWorks guilty pleasures, and it's one I return to quite often, actually. And I still couldn't believe that it was Brad Pitt that played the main character. Like, how did I not realise that? But yeah, so I had to go with Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas. Okay, so the next one is 2004. Now, I do own this one, but it's part of a collection set that I currently don't have in my thing right now, and that is Shrek 2. Of course, I had to include at least one Shrek film in this. Well, technically two, but the other one's Puss in Boots, which I won't say which one it is. You'll find out later. But yes, Shrek 2. This is an absolutely amazing sequel. It's fun, it's upbeat, it's dramatic, and there's some really fun songs in here. This was the film that got us the introduction of Puss in Boots himself, and I love him as a character. I think he's so adorable. He's like my absolute favourite character. But no, I think Shrek 2 is a really good sequel, and in fact, at times, it depends on when I'm rewatching it, it can be above the first one for me, just because of the characters. I mean, like the fairy godmother, love her as a villain. She's like badass, sassy, love her. But no, I had to include at least one Shrek film on this because the first two are absolutely amazing films. So yeah, had to go with Shrek 2. Okay, and then 2005, another Lilo and Stitch film, Lilo and Stitch 2, Stitch Has a Glitch. Now, I love this film because it goes back to him being all about his past as an experiment. But not only that, there is a scene in this that truly makes me cry every single time I watch it. Without a doubt, I always cry. It's so sad. But then obviously it works out and things like that. So, no, this is a very good sequel. And seriously, if you haven't watched this, I recommend you do. Okay, so we now go on to 2006, and this is another DreamWorks one. Over the Hedge. I love this film. There's so many fun characters in this. Some fun voice actors. I mean, you've got Bruce Willis, you've got Steve Carell. Steve Carell plays Hammy, and oh my god, Hammy is both so over the top, but so lovable at the same time. He's like your favourite character when you watch the film. But all the characters have their own unique personalities, and what can I say? Over the Hedge is one that I seriously recommend you watch. It's a good time. It's not anything too sort of like over the top or things like that, but it does have its funny moments. Some funny one-liners. I mean, you've got Hammy that's obsessed with a cookie, and yeah. So Over the Hedge, absolute fun film. And I do put it on when I'm feeling down, not gonna lie. Like, it's one of those go-to films that I'm like, oh my god, I need a good laugh. Okay, so we're now on to 2007, and this is the movie that I honestly thought I had in my collection, but apparently not. I must have got rid of it. And that is the Simpsons movie. Now, I'm going to be honest here, I have not watched the Simpsons TV show in full. Like, there's so many seasons, so many episodes. But I mainly watch the Simpsons for the Treehouse of Horror episodes, if I can speak. But I remember when this movie came out, and I really enjoy this film. It's definitely a Simpsons movie. And yeah, it's got some funny moments in it. It's a bit dramatic as well, which is what the Simpsons really isn't that much. Like, they do have some dramatic things happen at points, but it does mainly focus on the comedy. But with this one, it was, you knew you were watching the Simpsons movie, but it also felt dramatic at the same time with what they were dealing with. And it felt very cinematic, which, with a movie that's based on a TV show, it can either feel cinematic or it can feel like a made-for-TV thing. So I'm really glad that they got a cinematic release for this. And it made me think, why don't we have more of that for TV shows? That'd be fun. I mean, like the Teen Wolf movie we got this year. That was so cool to see the characters come back for that. Although it didn't go to cinematic, it was Paramount Plus. But you know what I mean? It was nice to see the characters in something other than a TV episode, you know? But yeah, the Simpsons movie, very good film, one I recommend. 2008, yet again, this is one that's part of a collection that I do not have with me currently, and that is Kung Fu Panda. Oh my god, Po is a legend. He is legendary. I love Poe as a character. He's fun, he's hilarious. This is one of my favourite Jack Black roles, and I always go back to this when I can because it is a good film, and it's not just because of Poe. It's because of the message behind it. You had that quote of what was it? Yesterday is history. Tomorrow's a mystery, but today is a gift. That is why it's called the present. Absolutely amazing quote. And there's some amazing fight scenes in this as well. Not just serious fight scenes, but some funny ones as well. And it's a mix of comedy and seriousness. And I love it when a film can do that, when it mixes it in a perfect balance. Kung Fu Panda, definitely 100% has that perfect balance down. Okay, and then the next one is 2009. And I had to go with at least one Ice Age film. And that is Ice Age 3, Dawn of the Dinosaurs. Now, the reason why I went for this one is because we got the introduction of Buck Wild, played by Simon Pegg. Absolutely amazing, fun character. I love the fact that we went to somewhere other than the Ice Age, because obviously the first two films were above the ground. Then this one was set underground with the dinosaurs. And I thought that was pretty cool to do that. It was nice to go somewhere a little bit different. It was nice to introduce at least one new character instead of chucking a whole bunch of new characters in. And yeah, if it weren't for this film, I don't think I would love Buck Wild as much. And this is my absolute favourite film, I think, of the Ice Age franchise. I'm not really sure. I have to give them all a rewatch. But yeah, for this film, for a 2009 film, not that bad. Okay, we've made it to the 2010s. So 2010, I've gone for Toy Story 3 just because I grew up with Toy Story as a franchise. So of course, when we were supposed to get the ending of number 3, it felt emotional. It felt amazing. And it was just, I think it was a perfect end. And I think they should have left it at that personally. But no. This is a good film. This is a good trilogy. The first 3 films are absolutely amazing. And, of course, when I saw this was a 2010 film, I had to include it. And 2011 is, yet again, part of a collection thing I currently don't have. And that is Kung Fu Panda 2. I had to include the second one as well. But this one is because of the villain. Now, don't get me wrong. I liked Tai Lung as a villain. In the first one, he was a badass. He was cool. But the one in this one, I can never remember his name. I can't remember his name. But he was such a badass villain. He had so many emotions behind him. And honestly, there was some really good fight scenes in this film as well. And Poe got a bit more of a development in his character as well. And so did the other characters as well. Mainly Tigress. She changed from how she was in the first one. And in this one, she was so much better. But yeah, so that was a good film. That was a good film. Okay, so for 2012, I do have it as a collection set, but I am only going to talk about the first film, and that is Hotel Transylvania. Now, if I remember correctly, this is one of the years I struggled to pick one out, and then I saw this, and I had to go with this. This is a cute, fun little movie. I like the idea of the monsters taking a break, you know, having their own little hotel. It was nice to see all the famous creatures in this, you know, Dracula, the Wolfman, Frankenstein, the Invisible Man. You know, it was nice to sort of like have a film that was kind of different, you know? Because a lot of the times, some films can feel repetitive, but this one, it felt unique and it felt like it stood out above everything. And yeah, I really enjoyed this film. 2013, yet again, another year that I struggled with. But I went for a Pixar film and I went with Monsters University. This is a really good film. I think it's a good prequel. I don't really have much else to say on this one, unfortunately, because it is a good prequel, but I think I would have preferred to have a sequel of Monsters, Inc. to see maybe what happened to Boo and sort of like where Mike and Sully are now. I mean, who knows, we might get that in the future. But yeah, so I will give it its dues. It was good, but for me, I had to go with this one because there was not anything else animated that I really wanted to put on this list aside from this one. So it's not a terrible movie. It's still a good film. I like the fact that we got to see Mike and Sully's backstory in them college, like this monster scare university, things like that. But yeah, so I had to go with that one. Okay, and then 2014, I had to go with Big Hero 6. I absolutely loved this film. Baymax, fun character. I mean, when I first watched that film, I was obsessed with doing the whole ba la 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 thing. I couldn't stop doing that. But this is a really good film, and it's got some really good emotions behind it. It's all about dealing with someone passing, and it's all about Baymax trying to help someone out. It's such a good film, and I would love to have myself a Baymax. That would be so much fun. But yeah, Baymax, absolutely amazing character. And but yeah, if you haven't watched Big Hero 6, I seriously recommend you do, because it's not just for the amazing fight scenes, the superhero-ness or anything like that. It's to do with the emotion behind it and what this movie deals with. Such an amazing film. And then speaking of stuff being dealt with, 2015, Inside Out. This was a unique film in its own. This is the first time we had a film where it was all about being inside someone's mind and the emotions that we have: joy, fear, sadness, anger, disgust, all those emotions. And it was coming from one kid, and it was to do with a situation where things were changing in her life, and we got to see how the emotions deal with it. The universe behind this thing is absolutely amazing. Beautifully animated. Bing Bong, the imaginary friend. Love him. He's absolutely amazing. This film makes me cry. It makes me laugh. And honestly, if you have not watched it and you want something that's different, this is one I seriously recommend that you watch. Okay, so 2016, yet again, another year I struggled to pick something out. But then I thought, you know what, I'll go for this one just because of the music. And that is Sing. Love the characters, and I love the music in this. I'm Still Standing, sung by Taron Egerton. Absolutely amazing. Shake It Off. All the songs in here are absolutely amazing and fun. And I love the characters and what they go through. And seriously, if you haven't watched this film and you like your music and you like a bit of animation from time to time, this is one I recommend, because there's some fun characters in this. Their backstories of what they're having to deal with whilst dealing with this competition and things like that. Such a good film. And honestly, I can't get enough of this film, and I can't get enough of the soundtrack either. That's another thing. Soundtrack mainly for this film. And 2017, I had to go with the very beautifully animated Coco. Honestly, when they go to the magical land of the dead, that's putting it nicely. When we go to the magical land of the dead, it is so beautifully animated. And I think this is such an amazing film. The emotion behind it, the characters, things like that. Honestly, Coco is so emotional. I'm not going to lie, the first time I watched it, I wasn't too much of a massive fan of it. And I think it's because of the hype that it got that I kind of went a bit on it. But after a while, when I've watched it a few times, it has grown on me more and more. And it's, like I said, mainly due to the beautiful animation in this film. Honestly. And the songs in this are really good as well. Remember Me, such an emotional song. And okay, and we're on to 2018, and literally I think pretty much most of this is Pixar now. 2018 is The Incredibles 2. Now, when you return to a a franchise that has been years and years, the sequel can either be hit or miss. This was a hit. It was fun to go back to The Incredibles again. Nice to see them come back as a family, this time more as superheroes. And I like the fact it was to do with how superheroes are starting to come out of hiding and they need to do better. Things like that. And this is such a good film. If you haven't watched it because you love the first one but you're too nervous about watching the second one, watch it anyway. It is so good. It's a good sequel. And like I said, sequels from past films that have been years in the making can be hit or miss. This is a hit. Okay, and now we're on to 2019, and I only went with this one because there was nothing else really out that year that I could truly pick out. Toy Story 4. Don't get me wrong, this was a good film. It wasn't terrible, but I think because of how Toy Story 3 ended, I think that would have been a perfect trilogy. But it was nice to come back to this. It was nice to have Bo Peep come back, and I think the villain was quite fun as well. The side characters of the duck and the bunny, I can't remember the names, they were fun. But I've heard they're going to do a Toy Story 5. I think they should have really stopped at 3. 4, okay, yeah, I will give them that. It was still good. But 5, I think they do need to stop now. But yeah, Toy Story 4 was still a really good film. However, when it come to the year when I had to pick this one out, I kind of struggled, and I just went with the film that I knew I got some enjoyment out of. Okay, and we're now into 2020. So for 2020, I went with Onward because, yet again, another year where there weren't that many animated films that had come out that I've actually seen, at least from what I can remember looking from the list. So I went with this one because I had seen it, and I think this is a really good film in the sense of the story, because it's all about this family who lost their dad a while ago, and they managed to find his magic stick thing, and they're able to bring him back for one day. However, it goes wrong, and they have to try and work out how to get him back fully for the whole day. I think the story behind this is emotional, it's fun. I think the fantasy side of things kind of took it away a little bit, especially when they did the side mission sort of thing, where it was just sort of like trying to work out how to get his dad fully back. But I think the message behind this story is really good, and if you haven't watched it, I seriously recommend you do. Now, these last 3, I can definitely 100% tell you that I absolutely love every single minute of these films. So for 2021, Encanto. I love this film. From the soundtrack to the animation to the characters to the story, absolutely everything in this film is amazing. The songs, oh my god, we don't talk about Bruno, Stick in Your Head All Day, Surface Pressure, Stick in Your Head All Day. Literally, so many good songs in this film, and I think this is a good story as well. And honestly, Encanto, I think this helped revive Disney a little bit, because I think it got to a point where Disney was sort of like dwindling. It was sort of like one year it would be a really good film, then the next year it'd be a meh film, and so on and so forth. This brought Disney back, I think, in my eyes, especially to the more modern films. But yeah, Encanto, if you haven't watched it, I recommend you do, just for the story alone. If you're not a massive musical fan, you can kind of get past it because you do focus on the story more than you do anything else. Plus also the animation on the characters and the magic. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Now, this is the one, 2022, where it isn't on Blu-ray in the UK, so I haven't picked it up yet. And that is The Bad Guys. Now, this one actually surprised me, because I watched the trailer for it and I thought, it looks okay. It looks like it could be a fun film, you know. Then I watched it and I ended up falling in love with it. I really enjoyed this film, and I do really want it in my collection. I want it on Blu-ray. I might have to get it on DVD for now. But The Bad Guys, absolutely amazing film. It was nice to have what would be your typical villains try and be protagonists, and they were fun characters. Sam Rockwell played the wolf. Absolutely amazing. I loved his character. And yeah, it was just a fun movie from start to finish. And the animation is fun. It's not beautiful. It's fun. Like, the way it's done, the way they move, things like that. Absolutely brilliant. So on to the final one, 2023. Now, there has been 3 animated films that I've truly enjoyed. But when I thought about it, I really had to go for this one because this is the one that has stuck the most in my mind. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Yes, this came out in America last year. However, it didn't come out into the UK till this year. So this counts as my 2023 favourite movie of the year, animated-wise. This was an amazing sequel. And it's not just because of Puss in Boots. It's not because of all the characters or the animation. it's the wolf character. I'm not going to say what kind of character he plays. I'm just going to say that the wolf is my absolute favourite character in this film. I love Puss. I love all the characters. I love seeing the new ones and all that. But for me, the wolf is what made it. The wolf is what made it for me. And I don't know if anything else will change my mind right now. But as of doing this list, this is my favourite one of the year so far. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Apologies, it's a bit all over the place. It's when you don't have something in your collection, I then have to look at the Letterboxd and make sure I've got the right year and things like that. So I do apologise if you see me just looking down at my laptop quite a lot. It's just making sure I've got things right. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this part 2. Like I said, I might do this yearly. I'm not 100% sure yet. I'll see how I feel next year. But yeah, so I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then do give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to this channel, then go ahead, hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell down below to be notified when I post. And also leave me your comments and thoughts on my animated movie list. What would be your list? Let me know in the comments down below. And I'll see you guys next time.